Welcome back to my IVF journey. In my last video, you followed along for my polyp removal and preparations for egg collection. In today's video, I'll be talking through my actual egg collection, talking about our embryos, dealing with OHSS and embryo transfer. This video shows both the highs and the lows of IVF. Please remember that every fertility journey is completely unique, and I'm sending you all my love if you're on your own journey.
Good morning, it is egg collection day. How I'm actually feeling in terms of in my body, okay, I feel like ever so slightly full, kind of similar to if you've ever been constipated. Say like my stomach's feeling like a little bit tender, nothing crazy. Like now I can't really feel it, but like maybe if I wiggle then I can feel it a little tiny bit. Mike's just checking if we can park here. We're early, we're half an hour early, but my collection is in an hour and a half, but we just wanted to play it safe. Oh, I'm very thirsty, I would say, but that's just because I couldn't drink from like 4 AM. I'm not hungry yet, but I would love a cup of tea. I've taken off all my jewelry. I can't wear jewelry. Oh, I've got my watch on, but that's it. But I will take that off. Got like warmish clothes on. My toes are a tiny bit cold. Chinese medicine says that your feet shouldn't be cold, but I think that's actually only for egg transfer. I don't think that's now, but you know. I'm not 100% sure that my clothes smell of absolutely nothing, because how do you get things to smell of absolutely nothing? I don't use fabric softener anyway, so there's not really that risk of it smelling like lots. I washed my hair last night, which I've done kind of reluctantly, just so that I could wash it with a fragrance-free shampoo. I didn't put like any product in it. My clinic, I think this does vary, isn't that picky about fragrance, I don't think. It says like don't wear makeup, don't wear creams, and don't wear nail polish. The nail polish I think is just so that they can like monitor your heart rate, I think. And I have push on my toes, but they said that's fine. I think that really you don't want to be wearing any strong scents. I think like a very light scent, I suspect, is fine. But I have tried to like keep that to a very minimum, the very minimum. Any luck?
There's actually no signs there.
I think we can park here though.
Yeah, everyone else is.
I'm like 90% sure that we're gonna have to do a frozen transfer, because I think my risk of OHSS is much higher. I have some questions to ask, and that is, are we doing an ICSI? I think typically you only do that if you have a male infertility issue, which we've kind of been told, I feel like we've been told we don't really. If we do, it's like a very tiny, like almost nothing issue. Equally, I can't see why they wouldn't do an ICSI. Assume it gets better results, but who knows? I also would like to know why I got more follicles than they expected. Obviously, like I still might not get more eggs than they expect. Although I've got like 21 follicles, I think it's 21, maybe 20, could in theory get 4 eggs and like 1 mature egg. Like you just don't know. I need to double check this. If we're not doing a fresh, I think I like do nothing today other than take my antibiotics. And I think they'll give me an OHSS antibiotic as well. And I have read that it's nice if possible to have a little break between stimulation and egg transfer, so like giving yourself that period in between to kind of let your hormones get a little bit more regulated isn't necessarily a bad idea. It just does delay us a month, but like obviously we've been delayed almost 3 years, so what's an extra month, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I know, but no, I just want a baby. Back in the car, I'm feeling like okay, like I am sore, I'm not gonna lie. Again, I'm just uncomfortable. Again, I'm gonna go back to constipated. If you've ever been constipated where your stomach just feels sore, I think it's very similar to that. I think we'll catch up now when we get home. Do I want to tell you how many eggs we got? I don't know, we'll see. So there is a online superstition that you should have chips after your egg collection. I hope so, because here I am getting chips after my egg collection. I think it's they're salty, and therefore it helps reduce OHSS.
Any chips or McDonald's chips?
No, McDonald's chips, sorry. It's a bit early for chips. What's the time, do you know?
It's about 11:30.
Yeah, 11:35. I just got chips. I know that I shouldn't be having too many carbs. I'm just chips now, and then hopefully a slightly healthier lunch when we get home. So I had my egg retrieval, as you would have seen, I think. This is at a private clinic, because the hospital where I go, I don't know if it's all NHS hospitals, but the hospital I go to, they don't freeze, and so essentially they don't retrieve them, because then they have nowhere to put them in order to freeze them. I do think it's slightly nicer than a regular hospital. They have like music playing, and it was a very upbeat environment, I would say, which was nice. And I had to go in by myself, like Mike couldn't come with me. And then I got changed into my like outfit. They told me to pee. We obviously went for a few things, mainly like the anesthetic stuff. I was sedated, but they kind of like talked you through the risks and the fact that you could have to be put under general if some things happen. You do wait around a tiny bit. It was fine. I think if you're nervous, then that might feel like a long wait, but I wasn't like overly nervous. But then I got walked into the theatre, and it was like a proper theatre. It wasn't like what I have seen at my hospital before, because at my hospital I've had like my cyst removed and stuff, and I think it was like a bit more chilled, whereas there was like a lot of people in there. I was warned about that beforehand. There was maybe like 5 people. Actually I have had 3, but I don't know, this just seemed like way more legit. Like everyone was properly like dressed in like surgery outfits and stuff, and obviously I was in my surgery outfit. You keep your socks on, and I kept my bra on too. You're allowed to do that, but like everything else comes off. You can't wear earrings, you can't wear makeup, you can't wear anything. You go under sedation, and that is like a weird feeling, but I don't remember anything else. I do, like when I went in, I had to like sit on the edge of a bed, of course, because they need access to you. They strap your feet into like these boots. It's not just like stirrups, is that what they're called? They're like stirrup boots, very odd. And then I basically woke up and they gave me some food, and I had 2 cups of tea and like loads of water. Pain wise, I'm okay. On the drive home, I think I had just had loads of liquids, and I don't know if it's because I have a retroverted uterus. I just find that my bladder and having had my eggs removed was a lot of pressure, but now I've gone to the loo, I actually feel completely fine. I could hear people around me. A girl behind me had 10 eggs, which I think is a decent number, but like she was a bit upset by it. Someone else had a very similar number to me, and I think she was quite positive, and someone else had 3. Like it is all over the place. Something that Mike and I did say is that I really do feel like the youngest person there, but equally that's probably why I had a decent amount of numbers. A decent amount of eggs. Now we kind of just have to wait and see whether like they mature, if they fertilize. It's obviously a long 5 days. I'm still on track to do a fresh, but I think I'll probably have to do like blood tests and just kind of see how I feel. We might end up changing to a frozen. That will be with the NHS hospital deciding, not the private hospital, which I feel like is a bit of a faff. Today I'm just gonna take it easy. I was told to not have too many carbs but have lots of protein, so definitely something I'm gonna look into doing today. I feel a little bit tired, but I think that's totally normal because I was just sedated, and it takes 24 hours for the sedation to leave your body. Yeah, I feel like a bit relieved. I was getting a bit emotional earlier, like thinking that our DNA, mine and Mike's, could be kind of like put together, successfully put together, because obviously that's something we've been trying to do for ages, and even though it's not in me, like that's still like knowing that it's there, I think is quite comforting. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I'm gonna chill out the rest of the day. I think I might read my book. I'm gonna like, I don't know, watch some YouTube definitely, because that's what I do. I'm feeling okay. I've got a tiny bit of back pain. Feels probably just like that's completely normal, I suspect. Not like enough to take a painkiller. I'm just a bit uncomfortable. But what I'm gonna do is set up for what I have to take over the next couple of days. Find a memory card. The vibe I got from the last doctor I saw was that there was little to no chance of me doing a fresh transfer. I said to her, like, what's the likelihood? Is it 50-50? And she said no. She said, like, please get yourself used to the idea that it's probably not going to happen as a fresh transfer. Because I think also if you have more than 20 eggs, it's likely that it won't be a fresh transfer. I had, I think, 21 follicles, but I think it was very clear that some of them were not mature. Today I asked her, are we doing a fresh transfer? I was very much told yes, like that is very much what we're working towards. The other doctor though, it wasn't only about the amount of eggs I had or the amount of follicles I had, it was also the fact that she thought my estrogen was too high. I don't think today's doctors had my estrogen information. I could be wrong. Regardless, we are acting as though we are going towards a fresh transfer. Like, as much as I would love to do this transfer fresh, I'm very aware that we do not want to be in a situation where I have OHSS. Will I be disappointed? I don't know. I will be a little bit disappointed, I think, but I think I'm okay. I feel like I've come to terms that we just want the best egg and the best possibility. I'm very aware that realistically we need one to fertilise and one to implant and one to go to full term in order to have a baby. So that's all like I'm hoping for, and anything over that will be a blessing. But I'm going to prep all the stuff that I need, and I'll kind of show you. There's a lot of paperwork, and I still have everything like organised from my stims, because I really found that having, I think I've got some more over there, that having these bags made up made my life that little bit easier on the day. Everything's just basically been stored here. It's not really a space that I needed too much, and it's kind of like hidden enough. And it looks super unorganized, but these are basically just bags that I was given. I know where everything is. Everything is very much in here. Okay guys, day after my egg collection. Also I'm red. Let me start with that. I look awful. I feel like there has been a running theme throughout all these videos. I have no excuse. I spoke to my embryologist. Now I need to just say, I would have been over the moon with 10 eggs collected, I think. Like, that was all I was expecting from day one. Today I was told, she just told me that we have 15 eggs. Oh my gosh, I can't think about it. We have 15 eggs fertilized. You hear it's Hunger Games. Like, typically it goes whatever you get. So say you get 16, we got 17. 16, it will go down to 8, and from 8 it will go down to 4. She said that it's likely that we get just half of those, but potentially we could have 7 embryos. 7 embryos seems unreal. I'm very, very happy, and I'm just gonna keep everything crossed that it carries on being a very positive outcome. Good morning. Today is Tuesday. Like 4 days since my egg retrieval, but equally I think it's like technically day 3 of my embryos. I'm still doing my hair, by the way. Got my call from my embryologist, and somehow, I can't even believe it, we still have 15 embryos. Blows my mind. I haven't been told anything about quality. Apparently I only get told about quality on the day, or well, either Thursday or on the day of transfer. The day of transfer could be Thursday, should be Thursday hopefully, but honestly it's looking unlikely. I feel truly, truly thankful that somehow on day 3 we have 15. I've mentioned this before, but bear in mind, I thought we'd be lucky to get 10 eggs on egg retrieval day. The fact that 3 days later we still have 15 embryos, not even eggs, embryos, I am truly, truly like thankful, and honestly I think in slight disbelief. It's funny because I really feel that Mike can't believe it, and he has been like in the best mood. I have told him that like we have to set our expectations. Things can still happen. They have to make it to day 6, which is Thursday. Fingers crossed that's looking good. On to my OHSS. Yesterday I was stressed because I honestly, this is the first time I've kind of been a bit disappointed with my hospital, is that I just felt like I was being ignored. Last week Thursday I went in for my pre-egg retrieval appointment, and the doctor had said to me, I don't think you're going to do a fresh transfer. And I was disappointed, but I've come to terms with it now. But she said, I'm not sure, I need your blood test results. No one got back to me with my blood test results. I done my egg retrieval on Saturday. I emailed again. I had emailed on Friday already to get a confirmation as to whether it was looking likely or unlikely. Like, I just wanted some sort of information. Nothing. And then I emailed again on Sunday expecting an answer nice and early on a Monday. Nothing. And then yesterday, which was the Monday, I sent another email, and I called up at like 3:30 p.m. because I do think that they're quite busy in the morning, so I understand that there's a bit of a delay. But I had been chasing for days really, because I was kind of expecting an update on Thursday, and I've now been asked to go in today. I also really want to go in today for a scan, an internal scan. Apparently when they were doing my egg retrieval they saw some fluid. If that fluid is still there, and I think also if they end up having to do a blood test and my progesterone and my estrogen is too high, I think it's unlikely we'll be doing a fresh transfer. I think the chances are probably like 10%, and that's kind of the vibe I got from the last doctor. I feel like I wanted to like make myself believe that it wasn't 10% and that it was higher than that, but I think it's unrealistic. I'm just gonna kind of like take things as they come. Mike's very much like, who cares, we have the embryos kind of ready to go, or we'll have them ready to go soonish, and we would need me in the best health, and I totally agree with that. But equally I have kind of like set my heart on an embryo transfer on Thursday. Like, I just think then we end up potentially being able to tell everyone by Christmas, which would just really be exciting. Equally I understand that that's not the important part. The important part is that I don't get sick and that we are able to have the baby. Very thankful that we have 15 embryos currently. I can't even believe it. Well, I honestly just can't even believe it. I am back from my appointment, and I'm actually feeling fine, but we are freezing all embryos. I have OHSS, mild currently. Like, I probably can feel a little bit that I'm a little bit tender. Nothing too crazy, but what I have been told is that I could potentially go from like being fine to not being fine quite quickly. So I'm going to continue on blood thinners, and if for some reason I do get not so great, I should go to hospital. I feel like I'm a bit tired. I fell asleep on my sofa yesterday, which is pretty unheard of. Equally, I'm really looking forward to being off medication for a little while. I'm going to continue on blood thinners because of the OHSS. There's only like one a day, and actually she increased the amount of blood thinner I'm taking. She doubled it, and I was like, should I just take 2 injections? She was like, no, I'm going to give you like a new injection, which made me very happy because I don't have to do 2 injections. And just one is so much easier, and blood thinner one is probably the most painful. And again, I'm forever very thankful that I am able to do this on the NHS, because that cost me absolutely nothing, because I already have a, it's like called a PP something, PPO, I don't know, but basically like a prepayment plan. I picked up more medication. It kind of feels like every time I come home I either come with injections or medication, but fingers crossed we can start my frozen transfer next month, and I've got a fair amount of things to kind of get that started. I think actually only items that I've already taken in the past, but we're doing a medicated transfer, which you don't have to do, but it apparently performs a bit better, so why not? I mean, I probably can see the reasons as to why not, but I'm looking forward to like my hormones currently getting back to a normal state before we move on to more injections and tablets and pills. And I'm looking forward to like cancelling all my alarms for all my injections and pills and suppositories. One of the slight annoyances though is that if my period's a bit late, we might have to wait till next year, just because the clinic is closed for a week over Christmas, and we don't want to like risk doing lots of like taking lots of medication to then have to delay it, which would obviously be annoying. So you'd rather just like not risk it and not take the medication. What I'm learning, I have not learned this, is that we just have to take everything as it comes. We have no control over this. I have no control over this. Essentially, I am unwell. Even if I feel okay, I think that's just me. Like I can just push through things like this, obviously because I have mild OHSS. I'm not suggesting that other people with severe can just push through it and they're not as strong as me. That's absolutely not what I'm suggesting. But I think I am just going to kind of take today quite easy. I have kind of pulled back a little bit on work just because like other things have been on my mind. So I'm looking forward to like just relaxing today, like finally coming off the pills for a little bit. I'm gonna put away all my medication apart from the one medication I'm still taking. Kind of just like relax. I'm really happy that that doctor told me that this was a risk before my egg collection, because I think I would have been very sad otherwise. But I kind of felt like this was coming. The nurse this morning and yesterday I think mentioned that they had seen liquid in my ovaries when they done egg collection, so I feel like I knew this was coming. Yeah, Mike's also feeling fine. He's just over the moon that we still have 15. Okay, I wasn't sure if I wanted to be on camera in my towel. I just got a call from the hospital. We have 12 embryos. We could have more, but today we have 12. And honestly, it's such a relief. And it's funny because like this boy has literally been singing around the house, because we are under no illusion about how fortunate we are to be in this position. I asked about grading. She said that they're largely amazing. The word she actually used, and she said this is way better than we would expect to see. So I am a little bit more put together. Sorry. And I thought I'd give you a little update as to how like I'm feeling. So the last time we spoke, before I told you about our eggs, about embryos, I said that I have OHSS. My egg collection was on Saturday and today is Thursday, and on Tuesday they confirmed that I had OHSS, although I kind of feel like I knew that. I would say that although I've had mild OHSS, it has not been great. I think you can kind of like trick your body into thinking it's okay when in reality it's not, because I think I probably said on Tuesday that I felt fine, and I'm not going to say I felt awful because I'm sure there's people who have OHSS and feel way worse than I did. But I remember on Monday going for a little walk, and like walking was painful. Like I could feel the floor almost like in my ovaries, I guess, because that's where the liquid was. And even to this day, like walking is still a little bit painful, so I'm just tidying a little bit. I haven't been feeling that well. Like yesterday I was a bit I was just on the sofa most of the day. I really feel like I genuinely had to be. Today I feel better. I still don't feel 100%. I'm positive, I'm confident that by the end of the week I will feel well. I'm hopeful, at least, because I know that sometimes OHSS can get worse. Like, I haven't been out very much. I've been like just trying to like look after myself. I've been having soups and bone broth, electrolytes and like salty food and protein. Like, everyone keeps telling me to have protein. It just like, it hasn't been great, but equally I feel fortunate that like that in reality I am still okay despite having OHSS. As I mentioned previously, I haven't told people that we're going through this, and so even like when my mum calls me, I'm like, she's like, hi, how are you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm well. And I'm like not really I feel like I'm like purposely not talking to people too much, because I feel like I am lying a little bit. I am currently on blood thinners for the OHSS, and that's the only medication I'm on. I am not enjoying the blood thinners, but I was on them previously when we thought I was going to do a fresh transfer. I just think they're particularly painful. Every time I have an injection, it bruises like without fail. My abdomen is just tender from the bruises and from the fact that I am retaining water in that area. Oh, the other thing I would really love to do is have a bath. I would love a bath. I was told to not have a bath for 10 days after egg collection. Mike came home at lunch because I messaged him to say that we have 12 eggs, and he was just so excited. I can't even talk about it too much because it will make me cry, because this boy was like, he has a song. He was like just bouncing off the walls. I feel like we both just feel very fortunate, but equally there could still be so much to come. But I am feeling super positive. We have had largely only good news throughout this whole process. I am inevitably feeling a bit nervous, and I'm like, I don't know if he is feeling that nervous. I feel like now he's just excited. I really feel like the keeping secrets has been a little bit tiring. I will check in when I have another update, or maybe tomorrow, because tomorrow I find out about my other 3 embryos, which may still survive. I can't even believe we might have more than 12. Can I just say, I don't know if I said this earlier, my embryologist used the word amazing. Like, I wrote that down. She said we had 12 amazing embryos. Oh, just blows my mind. I will speak to you maybe tomorrow, maybe another day. It looks like I've been crying for days, but I haven't. I however am feeling a little bit sad, to be completely honest, because I really thought that we were gonna do an egg transfer this month. Today is November the 1st, but I emailed the hospital to say that, by the way, like, I started my period, what are the next steps? And they basically emailed me back after I chased to say, oh, you have to start down regulation for a month. Like, I am going on the medicated route of egg transfer, but I did not realise that involved a month of prep. I thought that was just like, when my period starts, I start taking progesterone, or a couple of weeks in I start taking progesterone. I didn't realise that meant a whole nother month of down regulation. And I feel like I checked with her, like, oh, so it could still be next month. And she was like, yeah, I think so. As long as your period's not too late, we could potentially still be pregnant this year, because it's November, so it could happen, probably, fingers crossed. Like, I'd be, honestly, if it doesn't happen in December, I will truly be heartbroken. But it does seem that, from the email, it seems like I have to do another month of down regulation. And like, although we're not in the same position as we were in September, it feels like we are, because essentially the down regulation is exactly what I done in September. And like, that was easy enough. And like, now I'm so used to injections, I can take another 50 if I need to. I've had way more than 50 now, I think. So I feel like a little bit in limbo, because I wasn't expecting this, and I like wanted someone to like clarify it, to double check for me. That just wasn't the case, because they emailed me back so late in the evening, in the afternoon, and also because it was an email and not a call, I couldn't be like, oh, actually, I didn't know this. Like, is this definitely the case? So yeah, that's just how I'm feeling. I had a really fat cry, and Mike was like, oh, it's fine. Like, it doesn't matter if it's 1 month early or 1 month later. And of course he's right. Of course he is. Oh, I don't know. I just have a fat headache now. I had a fat headache before this even all started, but it's just a little bit worse. And equally, it's all fine. Nothing has happened. We might be a month behind where I thought we were going to be, but just 1 month. It's just a ride, guys. But I'll check in once I know more. And like, equally, I know that this day won't seem that significant to me in the future, but right now it does. And so I just know that if I wasn't to feel this now, I would basically just forget this. I would just forget this even happened. I have looked like a thumb this entire video. I wanted to jump on. The lighting is not great. Please excuse the background. We are now on our frozen egg transfer journey. Last month it was just prep. It was kind of to like, so you can let them know on the first day of period. I think it's a bit silly. I don't really see why you need that month, but it's fine. I started my period 4 days ago. Conveniently, my period has almost always started on the 1st of every month since I started this process. And then I went in for a scan to see if my lining was thin enough, on day 2. I shouldn't have got in on day 2, but it was a Monday and I already had the appointment booked because we were like guessing that maybe my period would start, and Mike was off, and so he was like, let's just go in and see what they say. The lining was too thick, and so she asked me to come in 2 days later. I went in today and my lining is officially fit enough for me to start estrogen, I think, but I'm starting Prognova, is that what it's called, today, and I have to take 3 tablets today. I've just taken 1 because basically I wasn't home, but the nurse said that doesn't really matter too much. I have another scan next week Friday. That is to see if my lining is thick enough, and also the tablets I'm taking now, the Prognova, is also, I believe, to thicken my lining for implantation. Generally, the doctors that I've been seeing have seemed quite happy with what they've been seeing. I do have a cyst. I've had this, I think, since stims. I think it's a very small cyst. Well, that's what I was told yesterday. They don't think it will cause any issues. As far as I can tell, cysts are completely normal. People get them throughout their life. You just never know that you get them. Stress can cause them, or I think you can just be more prone to them. The only other thing that's kind of worth noting is that it's very close to Christmas. Clinics, at least my clinic, pretty much never ever closes. You can have a transfer on a Sunday. I think you can have a transfer on a bank holiday. You can have a transfer on Easter. Like, as far as I can tell, they're always open, apart from over Christmas. My acupuncturist said that the reason that they do that is just so that they can like do a deep clean, and also because people need time off. I have 1 day to play with, so we are pretty sure that my transfer will be on the 20th, and my nurse said that judging from my previous scans on my collection week, my lining does seem to build up quite well. She said that she's positive that we'll be ready on the 20th. If I'm not ready, I have 1 extra day, so it'll be the 21st where we can transfer still. I think I'll have a better idea next week Friday, but potentially I might be taking all these drugs and then we reach next week Friday and they say, sorry, actually you're not going to make it before the Christmas window. I feel like we've really been waiting a long time, and I really just wanted it to be this year, and like it's got so close to the end of the year, but yet we can just make it. And I think if we transfer on the 20th, I don't think I'm going to do a test this year. I think I'm going to let myself believe that I'm pregnant, even though, like, obviously I might not be until the 1st. Let's see how it all goes. But I don't really want it to like ruin my new year. I think it will work. I really hope it will work. And like, it's scary saying these things. I might have video proof that I'm deluded, but I'm feeling positive. Like this entire process, I have just had super positive feedback from my doctors. Tomorrow I have acupuncture, which I am very much looking forward to. I really think, if nothing else, acupuncture is just such a good time, especially for me, again, because I haven't told anyone that we're going through this. It's such a good time for me to like just talk to someone about this, and she's been very helpful, and she has a lot of experience in this because she deals with so many women in going through exactly what I'm going through. Oh, the other thing, my biggest tip is don't get your house, don't have builders or decorators in whilst you're going through this. In my defense, I thought we'd be done by now. Like 2 weeks ago, I was having like mental breakdowns about the amount of dust that was in my house, and honestly it was just made so much worse by the medication, to the point that my mum, who again doesn't know that we're going through this, was like, Sabrina, what is going on? You can't be this stressed about just dust. There must be something else to it. Obviously there is something else to it. It's that we're doing IVF, but my gosh, the dust does not help, I will say. Not something that was once so hard. It's just like second nature now. Tomorrow I have my appointment to basically see if my lining is thick enough. We have no reason to think that my lining won't be thick enough, basically. Obviously there's always that bit of a risk, so I'm not really nervous, but I would be very, very sad if my lining isn't quite thick enough tomorrow. A couple of updates is that yesterday I had to take 4 antibiotics, but thankfully I didn't book in anything else because I knew that I had to take these, and I think that was quite fortunate because I didn't feel great after taking them. Azithromycin, I think it's quite a popular antibiotic actually, and I think it's to prevent like any infection, I think. I was actually asked to go to someone's play yesterday, like a Christmas play, and my godson's Christmas play, and I actually said no, and I was a bit sad about having to say no, and I basically had to lie and say like I had plans, but I didn't really have plans, but I just didn't know how I would react to these, antibiotics, and thankfully I didn't go, just because like I really didn't feel well. I was so nauseous, and my aunt actually came round and I had to just pretend I was fine, because basically I just feel like as soon as you say, oh yeah, I'm feeling a bit nauseous, people are like, oh, are you pregnant? And I'm not. I just really hate that that's what happens, that people just assume that. I just was not feeling well, maybe for like 4 or 5 hours, but I do think I've got a very sensitive stomach when it comes to antibiotics, so that's why I basically preempted that that would happen. And then the other thing was that I was not expecting was that yesterday I received an email from the private hospital. So I think I probably explained this, but the private hospital does, they do your egg collection and they do your egg transfer because they have the storage facilities. And so they emailed me to basically update with an update of what they had collected from me back in October. Yeah, back in October. I then was talking to Mike about it yesterday, and I was saying to him, I don't think it's productive for us to be going through it, because I just feel like we don't know enough and we're not the experts, and we were told that our eggs are good quality, and I think that's what we should kind of accept. This is a confirmation. So we collected 17 eggs and 15 eggs fertilized and are now frozen, and we didn't have assisted hatching. They then sent through how many were day 5 blastocysts and how many were day 6. 3 of them were day 6 blastocysts, and they've also rated them with a letter and 2 letters and a number. Now I could sit here and A, tell you all the letters and numbers, and B, I could like sit here and Google all these letters and numbers. The one thing that my clinic does, which I find a little bit annoying, is that they rate them a B plus and a B minus. But does that mean that the B minus is a C, and does that mean that the B plus is an A? Like, I don't know. I do know that we have one singular double A. Now I was told by my clinic that they really don't rate double A's very often. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but they said they have a very strict criteria for that. Does everywhere. Does that mean that actually like our B pluses are basically double A's? We probably have 7 like excellent quality embryos, and the rest are maybe more average. And at the end of the day, like, having 15 is just incredible. And this is something we talk about very, very regularly, Mike and I. Like, we do just feel so fortunate to have such a high number. I'm feeling very positive about it. I think my lining will be fine. That's what the nurse said to me, that like it's unlikely that it won't be fine from my previous tests. I've been tired, so tired, but I partly don't know if it's because it's winter, but yeah, exhausted. Good morning. Today is transfer day, and as you might be able to hear, I am sick, which honestly is so incredibly annoying that I'm a bit unwell. At the moment though, all I have is like sinus pain, but I have so much sinus pain, and what happens is that my I then get like nasal drip into my throat, a little tiny cough, but it's just like irritation from my nose. I don't have a fever. I've been like really monitoring it. It's been going up to like 37.8, but I don't think that's quite a fever. And I called up the clinic this morning and said like, I'm not feeling that well, should I still come in? And they said yeah, unless you think you've got COVID, which I really don't think this is what this is, come in. I also haven't been sleeping well. Again, I actually just think this is stress, because it feels like we've just been building up to it's stress, it's hormones, it's just everything. It just feels like this, I don't know, we've just been waiting for this day for ages, and it's just scary really, but it's like out of our control really. Anyway, I had acupuncture this morning, which I think really helped. My head hurts. I've had such bad headaches the last couple of weeks, to the point where I've been like, sorry, I need to go to bed, like don't talk to me, come do my injections, but don't turn the lights on. And like, I've just been a bit unwell. I just think the drugs are just so much. I'm like, I'm getting a little bit fed up. Like in one way it's been easier than stims, because I can't do them myself, which I obviously could have done stims myself, but I just feel like I'm more comfortable doing it myself now. I don't know. I'm gonna have some breakfast now. My appointment, my transfer is at 1, so I'm gonna try and get there a little bit before 1, but I haven't been told to get there earlier, which is odd. And then I called, and the receptionist was A, really sick, and B, a little bit useless. Mike has to come with me, like legally. which I think is funny, but he'd want to come anyway. It's the last day of term, it's just before Christmas. He's leaving work a couple of hours early, not a lot to be honest. I'll be fine with transfer as long as I don't get a fever. That's what's really important. I think you're not supposed to really get like extreme heat. So people are like, oh, you're a bit sick, why don't you take this? But there's literally nothing I can take but paracetamol, and paracetamol is so useless. I'm back from my embryo transfer and from my acupuncture, which I had after, like quite a few hours after. So I thought I'd kind of update. So we went into hospital, we went into the clinic for our 1 o'clock appointment, and a bit annoyingly it was quite delayed. I think we had to wait at least half an hour to be seen, but obviously not the end of the world. We were called into like embryo transfer room, and the whole thing was a bit surreal because it's just like a weird room. So it's a room connected to other rooms, at least ours was, and like one of the rooms just looks like, I don't know, something you'd see on Star Trek. Like it just looks, well, I don't actually know much about Star Trek. One of the rooms just looks like a proper lab, and there's like loads of people in there, but that door like closes, so you don't always see those people. Like, when I first went into the room I didn't realise it was like that. And then the embryologist comes in, she asks your name and your date of birth. I had like 2 embryologists I think come in, and then the doctor comes in and introduces himself, and then I also had I think another doctor and a nurse, so I had 5 people in the room, which I didn't realise we'd have so many. I think maybe actually for embryo collection it was kind of similar, and I remember thinking that was a bit weird, but because you're sedated for that I just can't really remember it. They like explained everything that's going to happen. For me, they like tipped my bed, so it was like this, that these are my feet and then my wrist is my head. So my bed was like this, which was not what I was expecting. The whole thing honestly was weird because there was like this bright light, but the room's dark. I think there was a bright light, I'm not even sure. They insert the speculum, but just using water, they can't use a lubricant. So that's interesting. I mean, it's fine, but it's definitely uncomfortable. They insert a catheter, and then they insert another catheter within that catheter, which is what the embryo goes down. They basically insert the catheter, tell the embryologist to prep the embryo, and apparently you have to wait 2 minutes. My doctor was trying to make small talk, and I think it worked because it didn't seem like too long. So then they insert the embryo through the second catheter. Isn't a I don't know. Anyway, and then they have to like check that it's definitely left the catheter and it hasn't just got stuck. So for like a couple of minutes he was like, oh, we're just gonna wait until we hear all clear, because the embryologist has to double check that the embryo has definitely left. Weird. So they said all clear, and then honestly within like 5 minutes I was out of there. I thought they'd make me stick around for a little bit longer, but they didn't. They told me to just like chill out for 2-3 minutes and then get dressed and go and empty my bladder. They give us a printout of our embryo, and oh, that almost made me cry because I feel like Mike was a bit emotional with that. We've got that, which is kind of cool, to be honest. Like naturally I'm a little bit emotional, but I am actually feeling better than I was earlier. Oh, the other thing I was saying to Mike, I was like, I just want to like ensure that it's still there. I want to be like, get a little ultrasound machine and be like, are you still in there? I can't help but fear that I have like coughed it out, which Google says you can't really do, but who knows. I'm gonna go chill out, relax, watch some Vlogmas because I still can, and I will see you all probably in a good few days. Who wants to check, me or you? Oh, I'm sorry if it's not positive.
Don't be stupid.
Oh, I don't think so.
Doesn't look like it.